Hello everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Happy Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and invite you all to watch. So jump on. As you're jumping on, say hello. Say hello. And tell me how you're doing tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and put some oils on. I was putting on my Endoflex, which is definitely a hormone oil that I go to all the time. I'm gonna put on some Valor as you guys are jumping on to really just get grounded and get really present for you all tonight. So I hope you guys are doing well, feeling well, and I hope you had a chance to watch yesterday's video if you weren't on live, because we talked about what is really possible with your cycle. We talked about the 4 phases of your cycle and what those phases can start to look and feel like when you understand some of the biology that's happening and can and should be happening. So a lot of times, if you are in the personal development world, we really don't like the word should. But in this case, I really think it is important to know that you deserve your body to be in alignment. And it is possible that your body should be functioning well. It can function well. I want you to believe it can function well, and that your body is here to serve you, and it's this temple for you to take care of, and it is this experience. Hi Shannon, how are you? I'm so glad you're able to jump on tonight. How are you feeling? How are you doing? What's going on with you? All right, so just taking a few deep breaths, seeing if anyone else is going to join as we do tonight's live. So tonight's live is really going to be about hormone triggers. So yesterday I said it was about what is possible, what your body can experience in its cycle in the 4 phases. But what we need to really start to become aware of, I had a busy day too, girl. What we can become aware of is the triggers of the common everyday things that are creating stress on our hormonal system, our endocrine system, right? So I'm going to talk about all the things. We're going to talk about detoxing people, places, and things, because there is a lot of input into our body that is causing stress in our body. So I'm going to start a little bit with talking with, again, what our body should be able to do. It should be able to detox things very well. So on a daily basis, we're exposed to toxins, whether it's through synthetic chemicals in our products. It might be through foods you're eating. It might be through processed foods or, man-made foods, things that are really, really synthetic, or just hard on the body, like sugar and sometimes, those really highly processed foods like dairy and things like that, gluten. And then, not for nothing, but we're really going to talk about the emotional piece too, because toxic people in our lives can cause stress for us. Toxic experiences, traumatic experiences, trauma, any kind of experience is affecting our hormonal system. So we want to really break down each of these pieces to see where can we regain some control and create some ease for our body. So our body has this natural design to filter out toxins. So we have the capacity to filter out those stress hormones that come up when an emotional experience comes up. We have the capacity to detox any chemicals we're exposed to, process out some of those sugars, some of those inflammatory foods on the body. Our bodies are so resilient. So I need you to know that there are 4 pathways of elimination. And so these are always signs and clues of how our body is functioning. So we can kind of look at these pathways of how they're functioning and gain information. So like I said yesterday, you can gain information from the color and the texture and the timing and the flow of your period. You can also gain information from your pathways of elimination. So the first one is your liver. I shared with you guys yesterday. For me, I always have like some glitch in my liver. Like if I'm having stuck energy, it is in my liver. And so I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of energetic stuff here for you. The liver actually is a place that harbors a lot of anger. So if you're feeling irritable, if you're feeling angry, sometimes that's where we need to look back to, is the liver. So that's something that for me, when I know that I'm feeling angry, irritable, agitated, I have to go back to my liver. I have to go back to that place and say, is my liver functioning well? So your liver is working from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. detoxing what has been all the things that you've kind of ingested and been exposed to throughout the day. And so a couple cool things to be aware of is if you are able to get up in the morning, have a glass of water, and have a bowel movement first thing in the morning within about 30 minutes, that's a great sign for the fact to indicate that your liver has done its job over that 12-hour period. So if you're waking up, you're able to have an easy bowel movement, that's a great sign that your liver is functioning well. Signs that your liver is not functioning well, as in addition to like the anger and irritability piece, is if you have a hard time sleeping and you are waking up between 1 and 3 a.m., that is a sign that your liver could be one of the component. Geez, I might have some liver issues. Yep, it's important to love on your liver. Our liver is like this filter that is filtering through. It pulls all those chemicals or toxins out of fat cells, and then it changes them to water soluble so that your body can then flush out what it doesn't need. And so that might mean the excess hormones. Like I said yesterday, if you're having excess estrogen, it just might be that your estrogen isn't getting out of your body. It might just mean that, something isn't getting filtered out the way it's supposed to. So the next organ that comes after the liver is the large intestine. And again, you need to be pooping. Like, we're just going to talk about the nitty-gritty stuff. You need to be pooping. And so again, if you're pooping first thing in the morning, just talking real talk here, that's a great sign for your liver. But also constipation is a really serious thing. If you are not having a bowel movement, an easy, smooth bowel movement, at least first thing in the morning, but actually more than once a day is ideal. If you are not having easy, smooth, regular bowel movements, here's the problem with that. What is happening is toxins are sitting in your large intestine, and it is just reabsorbing into your body, and your body, it gets sick. My son, I shared with you, Michael, he has special needs, so he actually has low muscle tone, and we've really seen this impact his gut, and he's just such a perfect example of bowel movement issues making the body sick. So he has really struggled in the past. I don't even want to I'm really conscious about the language that I use. In the past, we have seen him struggle with constipation significant constipation. And it's very obvious that within 2 days, if he is not pooping, his whole body is weaker. He's more lethargic. You can see like the color in his skin change. You can see the energy kind of drain from him. It's too much. It's too much on his body. And if it goes when it was going even longer than 2 to 3 days, inevitably he was getting sick. If he was constipated in any way, he would catch whatever bug or cold especially was kind of floating around, despite my best efforts. We have done a lot of work to get him pooping regularly. And so, again, toxins can come in the form of all kinds of things. And what is toxic to your body, you know, and your toxic load might be different than what my body can handle. So this is where it becomes a little intuitive of like, what can my body handle? How is it handling X, Y, Z? And how can I reduce some of that toxic load, that toxin burden? For Michael, that meant eliminating dairy. That meant no more dairy. Although he is able, you know, to tolerate like some things like cottage cheese, but we use a lot of digestive enzymes to help him going. So I'm curious right in this moment, if you're here live, say hello, tell me how you're doing. But do you have any trouble going to the bathroom on a regular basis? This is really, really important. It might be as simple as drinking enough water. Getting Michael to drink enough water is actually a really big challenge because of his low muscle tone. It's a whole thing. For me, my friend got me a big cup a couple weeks ago for my birthday, and it has been such a gift to me because I've been able to drink so much water carrying around my mug. But tonight I drink out of these, like when I'm home, these big mason jars, and I'll fill them up with as much water as possible. I'll add in any of my supplements. I'll add in Ningxia. I'll add in citrus oils and things like that to really just increase the intake for my body. So much better. Like the water intake is huge. I noticed like a difference in my energy, my bowel movements, my mood, just from drinking water. This is a huge, easy step for you, and you should be drinking half your body weight in fluid ounces a day. So I know that for me, drinking at least a gallon, I think, is a good amount of water for me. And then I try just not to drink too late because then I'll be up peeing in my sleep. So pooping is really important. And drinking enough water is a really easy way to do that. And then, like I said, tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about foods to eat to support your body, to support your liver, your large intestine, and things like that. But those are two of the pathways that are happening. The next pathway that's helping your body eliminate toxins is your skin. Your skin is your largest organ on your body, which is really amazing because your skin is also communicating with you so incredibly. Your skin, if you ever notice any acne on your face, you can actually, what's called face map, any acne to an organ in your body. So hormonal acne, you can see I definitely was working through in the last couple weeks, clearing out some hormones. This is actually really nice and smooth. It was really angry looking a couple weeks ago. But your jawline is your hormones. Your small intestines and your intestines tend to be right here. Your lungs are up here, and then I think like kidneys and stuff are somewhere around your eyes. So you can kind of notice if you're getting acne. Like sometimes I'll get a pimple right here when I eat something terrible and yucky and greasy. I'll get like a pimple right where the intestine spot is. If it's right along the jawline, I know there's like some kind of hormonal imbalance. So I always take that information, and I'm so grateful for my skin communicating with me. it gives me feedback. It gives me information to say, okay, like I really need to address this. Water, again, helps your skin look so good. But if you notice things like where you're getting pimples, or even if you notice you're sweating and your sweat is stinky, like if you were stressed or you ate pizza and chicken wings, that is a sign to you of how your skin is detoxing, right? So tonight we're really talking about detoxing all the things. Like I said, it can be emotional. You get the stress sweat sometimes. You stink when you're stressed. That's real bad. Sometimes it's because of something you ate. Sometimes it's because of something you've been exposed to that maybe you don't even have any idea that you've been exposed to. And the other cool component of your body's elimination is actually your lymphatic system, which is a huge component of your immune system. So the lymphatic system is all these nodes in your body. So you have them under your breast, you have them under your armpits, you have them on your inner thighs. And these are really great places to keep moving and keep kind of, you hear about like lymphatic massage or lymphatic pumping and things like that. This is huge to support the body's health. So moving, simple movements, like if you kind of like lift your arms up and down, swing your arms side to side, and I'm just trying to not knock things over. So otherwise I'd take up even more movement when I really do this. And you can kind of do some hip sways, some hip circles, gentle movements like that. And even if you have a little trampoline, pump your body's lymphatic system. This is a huge detox pathway for your body to eliminate toxins, right? So these are all the ways your body has the capacity to eliminate some of the triggers that we're exposed to. That toxic burden can be very large though, and those places can get congested. The lymphatic system can get congested, the liver can get congested, the large intestine can get congested in what looks like constipation, right? The skin, you'll see redness, you'll see inflammation pop up. These are all signs that there is something overloading our system. And when that happens, that is telling us that our body is overloaded and it's really going to struggle to regulate the hormones like it's supposed to be able to do. So these are all pathways to be aware of and to be keyed into and of what's happening, how well or not well they're functioning for you. But we also want to be thinking about how can we really decrease the toxic load on our body. So again, this comes in a lot of forms. Switching to non-toxic products is no joke, you guys. You guys know that I'm a Young Living lover. And I don't say this to like pitch you. I say this because it's serious business. When I have, in my experience with Michael, his system is just so sensitive to toxins in all shapes and forms that it's become very clear and evident of how it impacts him. And through detoxing my life, my products, my personal care products, my makeup, my cleaning products, what I see now is that when I'm exposed to the synthetics, when I'm exposed to the chemicals, it creates an immediate response in me. So you might not even realize the things that are causing stress on your body because you're so used to them. Your body's kind of acclimated to functioning at this toxic overload level, right? Your baseline is overwhelmed with toxins. But if you can start to decrease that toxic load, your body is much quicker and more able to notice a toxin and eliminate it and give you a sign that that was not serving to you, that was too much. Like I said, if I'm exposed now to like a regular cleaner, I get a headache. or it instantly like overwhelms my sinuses or things like that, and I feel the congestion, right, in our sinuses, or you know. And what we don't realize, especially as women, especially the lymphatic system is a great example. We use all these products like deodorant and like shapewear that like cause this congestion on the lymphatic system, restriction on its ability to detox, so that all of that stuff that we don't actually want, that makes us kind of stink anyways, is our body has to hold on to it because it has nowhere to go. That's how I am with candles and sprays. Oh, you mean like now that you've gotten rid of them? It's crazy how much crap is out there in different products. It's so true. So it's like piecemeal it out. Piecemeal it out. Clean your house with vinegar. Clean your house with thieves. Clean your house with baking soda. Do detox baths. Take baking soda and Epsom salts and take baths once a week. Allow your skin to open up and like allow that stuff to come out. Use things to pull the toxins out of you. Support your body's ability to do that. Detox baths. And then if you're in the shower, what I've also read is that you can go really hot and then turn it to cold and then turn it back to hot, so that it actually is pumping the cells in your body to open up and contract a little bit, so thereby you're pumping the skin and the lymphatic system a little bit through that hot and cold experience, which is so interesting. So switching out personal care products, switching out your cleaners, because what you don't realize is those are the products that you have control over. What you're not realizing likely is that, or maybe you do, is that we have a lot of exposure to things that we can't control. All the antibiotics we've taken in our life, any shots we've had in our life, the glyphosate in food, Roundup in the ground and in people's spraying your neighbor's lawn. We get a notice. I don't know if you guys have this experience, but we actually get notified when our neighbors are doing their spraying of their lawn, because it's toxic, and it's like you have to actually alert people within a certain distance. So we get a postcard when it's happening. But it's so frustrating to me because actually we have no control over it, but it's toxic enough to alert us to the fact that it's happening, and we don't have a choice. The amount of heavy metals in our water and things like that we don't realize. If you want to detox your water, you can get things like a Berkey. And that, I think that's how you say it, a Berkey, that will actually detox a lot of the heavy metals out of the water. You will be shocked once you start to eliminate some of this burden on your body, how well it can function. And we have to really be conscious of the fact that this is a lifelong accumulation. This is not like, okay, I wake up today and I start fresh. This is me the last 30 years. Everything that I have done and been exposed to and exposed my body to, I have to be really creating an easier experience for my body because of the cumulative effect of the air fresheners, the candles, again, the antibiotics, like the things that have caused strain on my body's ability to do what it can and should be able to do. But now, it struggles to do those things because of all of those things and all the things that are out of my control. The water out of my tap, the ground, the spraying of the neighbors, things like that. Those are out of my control. So what is in your control is really voting with your dollars and the things that you are purchasing. That will create some ease for you. And again, supporting those detox processes, baths, the shower, lymphatic pumps. Using a trampoline is actually a really great way if you have a trampoline to pump your lymphatic system. And then food. Tomorrow we're really going to get into like all the how and what to eat. But one thing to really start to think about, if you're thinking about eliminating toxins, two pieces to this food thing. Eat real food. Eat it as real as you can possibly eat it. Try to eliminate sugars, highly processed dairy. I'm a real proponent of Weston Price principles, so I'm not anti-dairy, but unprocessed dairy, like raw dairy, is actually so much easier for your digestion. Sugar, I said that. Any vegetable oils, if you can eliminate like canola and vegetable oils from your cupboards, from your cabinets, from the food you're eating, if you can reduce the processed food that you eat as much as humanly possible, your body will be so happy. Your body will thank you exponentially if you can just try to eat real food. Because again, what you're doing is you're decreasing the burden on the liver, the large intestine, the lymphatic system in your skin. You have to decrease the stress that your body is, the amount of effort it has to do to get this stuff out of you, you know? And if you're experiencing any kind of symptomology related to hormone health, or like the things I'm saying, liver congestion, lymphatic congestion, skin issues, those are all signs that your body is overtaxed. So we have to like gain some information from our body and really listen to it. And so those are really physical things of triggers, but we also have to think about the emotional pieces. I'm sorry, does anyone have stress in here? Because I know I do. And stress, not only is it this physical experience, actually a hormone response, right? The spike in cortisol, and then your body has to actually eliminate that cortisol from your body. So if the elimination systems are congested, you're not able to get rid of that cortisol. But also we have to have the ability to manage our stress from the emotional perspective, so that maybe we don't have the spike in cortisol at all. Yeah, Shannon, tell me about what are your stressors right now, and I'm going to tell you a little story. So I've been thinking a lot about what are my stressors, and I'm constantly doing self-development work. I'm constantly doing spiritual work. I am a registered yoga teacher. I don't know if I shared this with you guys yesterday, but mindfulness is a huge piece for me. And that spiritual practice, that meditation, being really mindful, work, and the inability to control this pandemic. Yep. And so this is exactly a perfect example, because there are some things, again, that are beyond our control. It's just beyond our control what is going on in the world to most extent, right? So most things are actually out of our control. And so I've had this experience, and I'm really practicing gratitude for it, because it's giving me the opportunity to teach to it. So I have this family member who has a really toxic personality, toxic boundaries, drama. And so I'm in this experience right now where she is actually having an altercation with my dad, and I am not involved at all. But I wish this person a happy Thanksgiving, and just totally ignored me, disregarded. That's out of my control. Her experience of me is out of my control. And in the moment that it was like happening, it was very easy I was kind of observing my thoughts around the reaction. I really wanted to like flip out. I wanted to be like, what did I do wrong? I'm not the one doing anything wrong. I'm just sitting over here, doing my own thing. And I observed my emotional response start to escalate. start to go into that high cortisol place, right? Like ramp myself up. And I thought, I need to change this energy because I'm not going to get caught in this loop again with this person. Arguing doesn't serve me. So a lot of people need to learn this lesson right now. Arguing is not going to bring anyone peace. It's not going to bring me peace. It's not going to bring her peace. She's choosing to be in a low vibration. She's choosing to be in a place of being angry and resentful and hateful. And that's her choice. And I have the opportunity to show up and to be in that place of forgiveness. I have the opportunity to still be in that loving space, loving kindness, bring peace to my world, forgive her for her choices. But I also am going to recognize and know and honor that it's not my responsibility. My peace is my responsibility. So this is mindfulness work. Really, I love sharing this example of when you're in an emotional place where you're in that reactivity place. Like I said, I really wanted to just freak out on this person. How dare you not respond to me? Happy Thanksgiving. I'm being nice. And so that emotional place of reaction, anger, hate, frustration, drama. You guys know about drama? That's like being at the top of the ocean, where it's like real wavy. You're getting like bashed up against the rocks. It's like you can't catch your breath. Like, you know, that anxious feeling. You're like, I'm drowning. I cannot catch my breath. Like, boom, 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 wave, wave, wave. Like, that's where reactivity is, right? When we practice mindfulness, it's like we're a pebble sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And you can even, like, if you practice a meditation, you can feel yourself kind of go down into your belly, into your core, into your gut, and you can say, can take a deep breath and do this with me. Like, take a moment. If your legs are crossed, uncross them. Put both feet on the floor. Or if you're sitting on the floor, you can crisscross your legs. That's an option. Sit up nice and tall and take a deep breath. And I want you to feel the breath begin to like drop down inward, deep, deep, deep into your belly. And I want you to feel your belly expand. And I want you to imagine that pebble sinking down to your core, to your pelvis, to your pelvic floor. And you feel that like weightedness inside of you. This is what's called grounding. This is the place where you can forgive. This is the place where you know your truth. This is the place where your intuition lies, which is something we're working on tapping into by aligning our hormones. And the truth is that anything that is not aligned with love in your life, anything that brings you frustration, anger, anxiety, anything that makes you feel like you cannot catch your breath, you drop down in and you tap into knowing your truth. The truth is that you're pure light, pure love. And that's what you're here to be. That's what you're here to do, is to show up from this place, this grounded place. And your energy can shift the energy of other people. Your energy of dropping down in deep to this is going to change your experience. When you operate from this grounded place, stress won't be a thing for you. But this is a practice because life is happening all the time. And you know what? You can practice groundedness and in the next moment lose that connection because your kids are screaming like psychopaths and you're just like, lose your shit, and you can rein it back in today. it was funny. I actually yelled at Henry, but I did it almost from this grounded place. So like I didn't respond in the same way. I said, you need to stop. You need to take a deep breath because I cannot think with you raging. But it didn't come from that anger reactivity place. And there's a difference, which means that when I said that to him, I was able to still stay calm. I was still able to then think clearly once he stopped screaming, because I can't think when he's screaming. I don't know who can think when people are screaming at them. That's a trigger for me. I need a moment. So I asked him very loudly for a moment, but what would have happened if I said that from that reactivity place was then I would have been agitated and I still wouldn't have been able to think about what I needed to think about. All that to say, and emotions are a huge piece of what can derail our hormones. So practicing mindfulness is crucial to your health. It's crucial to your hormonal health because it's the one thing that if you are eating right, if you are taking the best care of yourself as possible, if you're doing all the right things, you're taking your supplements, you're exercising, time and time again, if you don't know how to manage a stressful trigger, you will get knocked by that wave and you will get smashed into the rock wall. Believe me, because I have felt it, I have done it, I have been the person doing all the right things. And I'll never forget, I was really working on my health a couple years ago when we found out Michael had a diagnosis. And that just rocked my world. And still, time and time again, life is happening all around me. Last year I had Henry, and Henry was 5 months old. Michael had a seizure for the first time in the bathtub. That stress, I think I realized today, the stress of that experience impacted the entire almost last year and a half for me, because I didn't really manage that stress well, in addition to the fact that I wasn't taking care of myself because I wasn't sleeping with a new baby, and it's hard to find time for yourself as a mom, and blah blah blah, all the excuses. But what's important is that this is never one thing without the other. It's never, you eat healthy and everything is fine. You still have to be able to manage stress. And it's not, you're happy-go-lucky so that you can vibrate so high that you can eat sugar all day and still be fine. It's always all the pieces. Like I said about, the accumulation of toxins, it's also the accumulation of all your experiences, all your triggers. So really being able to cope with your emotions not only is important from the physical experience of what your body has to go through when the cortisol spikes, when your body goes into fight or flight, when you have this stress response, your body has to respond to that in some way, and it does its best. It does its best to manage it physically, but then also, how are you going to handle that emotion, right? How are you going to handle that reaction? How are you going to handle that relationship? Because that person I have a relationship with that didn't say Happy Thanksgiving back to me, that's still a family member. I don't get to get rid of them, unfortunately. Some people we do get to get rid of, and some people we have to set really hard boundaries with and say, this is not a behavior I'm going to tolerate in my life. So are there loops in your life that you're getting stuck in emotionally? Because it's the loops that we really want to watch out for. It's those habits with people, places, things, that we are addicted to those toxins in some shape or form. We have gotten into habit loops of using them, of interacting with them, of engaging with them in some way. And so much of this hormone work becomes conscious effort, because we have to first become conscious of the toxic load, whichever form it's coming in, whether it's through products, whether it's through the food you're eating, whether it's through the people you're interacting with, whether it's through your own internal dialogue. That's another important piece. The dialogue you're having internally. What are the thoughts you're having on a regular basis, and are they creating a stress response? Are they creating some type of emotional toxic load? Because they're thoughts of shame, of guilt, of beating yourself up, the bully in your head, right? All of these pieces are at play, and we first have to awaken ourselves to what is causing stress. It's one thing to notice that your liver is congested, but it's another to unpack all the shit that's causing it. Shannon, I'm a behavior analyst, and I'm always working with teachers that are fed up with behaviors in their class, so lots of negative energy. Yep, I think I'm good at handling and how I react to it, but maybe my body is taking on stressors and reacting. I got the gist of it. And so that's important too, is like, again, the things, your body might be functioning at this baseline of, I'm used to this stress level, but you don't even know how stressed you are. I used to say this all the time when I would teach yoga. And I would say sometimes we don't even realize the stress or the tension that we're carrying until it's released. So maybe you handle it well, but maybe you handle it well because you're constantly bracing yourself. And that's important to notice. And again, you might be handling it well. You might be handling it from that grounded, even keel place, and it might not be spiking your cortisol at all. That's really only for you to know. And that's where it becomes your own journey. What can your body tolerate? What can your emotional person tolerate? Your personality type? What are you able to navigate? And what is impacting you in the negative way? So practicing those little releases, those little opportunities of where can I take off this burden, this toxic burden, whatever the XYZ toxin is, and see how that impacts my system. See how that creates a little bit more ease for my body. Maybe it's eliminating dairy. Maybe it's not showing up to that person's Christmas Eve party. Maybe it is noticing the loop you're getting stuck in with your partner, like a fight you keep having. You notice, you have to notice, you have to pull yourself out of it and step back and say, like, what is happening here? Is this happening because my liver is congested, or is this happening because there's an emotional component that needs to heal? And probably both. It's probably both. It's always all the pieces at play. So it really is this awareness of what are you experiencing, where is it coming from, and how can you begin to take off the burden on your body? Because your body has the capacity to be aligned. Your hormones have the capacity to be aligned. Your liver has the capacity to detox. Your lymphatic system has the capacity to detox and boost your immune system. You have the capacity to be the healthiest, best, most elevated version of yourself. And you need to believe that that's possible, and you need to see what is holding you back from being that person. So, how is all of this landing? How is all of this feeling? What do you notice about the things I'm saying and how it plays into your life? Remember that this is a really safe space. I'm here to support you. I'm here to coach you if you are wanting, desiring support. If something is coming up for you that's resonating, that you want to unpack with me here in this group, in this forum. It's a really amazing group of ladies. I am so grateful you guys are here tonight. Oh, I just touched my heart too, landing right in the heart. It's always all the things. I need to learn to ground myself before letting stress get to me. I took a moment the other day when I got home, and it's so funny because I'm working right now a couple hours a week out of the house, which I'm like, why? How do people do this? This blows my mind. Coming home with the kids, it's like totally chaotic, and it's like right at dinner time and blah, blah, blah. And so I took a moment and I just like stood in front of the stove I just felt both feet on the ground. And I took a real deep breath. I looked at myself in the microwave reflection. And I just took a few minutes. Love thinking about the small physical and emotional things I can change. I tend to be all or nothing. Me too, girl. You know, it's so funny because this year I have really realized that I have unrelenting standards of myself, and that I am actually a perfectionist, but I felt like I wasn't even good at being a perfectionist, so I didn't want to call myself one. So I'm recognizing that and honoring that and realizing that actually it is in the little steps that help me to feel so good. It is in drinking 80 ounces of water a day. That's a win. And it is in celebrating and bringing joy to those little wins and those changes, and celebrating the moment where I stand for a minute and take some deep breaths. It's in the moment where I take a deep breath before I respond to something that Mike says to me, and I'm conscious of my language and my attitude. I celebrate all those little things now a lot more. But it's always a practice. Mindfulness is a practice. Being conscious is a practice. Being tuned in to your own energy is a practice. So this is never just perfect. It's never a checklist. It's never a check off your list. It's never done. So release that pressure on yourself that it'll be done and it'll be good and everything will be great and it's finished. It's the experience. It's the experience of moving through your life from this really grounded and intuitive and knowing place. Do you guys have any questions tonight? I am going to talk tomorrow about nutrition and really nourishing your body from a really conscious and loving way. And so we're going to talk a little bit about eating according to your cycle, your relationship with food, things like that. But if you catch the replay, if you're watching the replay, make sure you comment any questions or things that you have going that are coming up for you. I am so here for you. And I am sending you all so much love. I'm having so much fun with you guys doing this. And I appreciate you. And I hope you guys have a great night. I will see you tomorrow at 8. Love you guys.